Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Mullen. Our special guest today is Bryan Paz-Hernandez, who is running for County Commission District 11.
That's right.
Oh my God! So far, we got it perfect. All right. So, Bryan, we've known each other for a while, and this is an old studio for you. But you worked here in 2020 for a while, and you're actually on the other side over there, and you did some shows. So, welcome back, and it's nice to see you. So, inquiring minds want to know, why are you running for Miami-Dade County Commission District 11?
Well, thank you, Michael, for having me on your show and back in this wonderful studio. You really have outdone yourself. It looks fantastic, so great job.
Yes.
I'm running for a county commissioner for a lot of reasons. First off, I am not a politician. I'm a local resident. I've lived in Kendall most of my life, and I'm sick and tired of the traffic congestion. You're looking at 2-3 hour commutes. I'm sick and tired of the high cost of living, including the extremely high cost of rent, mortgages that are crushing families. You're also seeing home insurance very high, and also groceries and gas are really expensive. And also, Michael, I'm sick and tired of the corrupt politicians who say they're going to deliver the world, but when they get into office, they don't really do much. There's not much follow-up.
So one of the things we recognize is people get pulled in different directions, and at all times, family members, all right, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, cousins, including when you go into politics. So if somebody gets in with 51 or 52% of the vote, or 55, it's like a massive killing. You still have half the voters are on the other side of that. So how are you going to balance out the pulling that people have? Some people say, gee, I want to be able to afford to live here, and then you have the developers say, we need to make as much money as possible. How are you going to balance that?
That's a great question. I mean, people want to afford to live here, and you're looking at in Kendall, $2,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. In parts of students at FIU, which FIU is in my district, they also can't afford housing. Home insurance is going up. We've seen an increase recently. People can't afford this. They really can't, especially if you're working a working class, if you're working at Walmart or Chick-fil-A or something like that. How are you going to afford these increases? You just can't afford it. So you're seeing people leave Dade County, or you're seeing kids live with their parents.
We see that there are a lot of people that have a lot of money that are moving into Miami-Dade County.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen, or already in the works. You want to live down here?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos moved here.
Yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money. All right, and whoever knew millionaires move over, all right, because that is clearly what is going on, and our cost of living down here is significantly less than New York, with big people moving down from Chicago, California, Seattle, all moving into Miami, driving up that price, because if somebody's making twice as much money or 3 times as much money, the groceries don't matter as much. The cost of home insurance doesn't matter as much. Let's talk about mobility and traffic, which is right up there. I mean, you have home insurance, groceries, and traffic. People refer to it as traffic, but it's monstrous amount of cars, and people don't know quite how to move around.
Right.
What are we going to do?
There's too many cars on the road. Too many cars on the road. The fact of the matter is, traffic is caused by congestion, right? And so what we have to do is reduce the number of cars that are on the road. How do we do that? We make public transit extremely attractive to residents of District 11. So what I want to do if I were elected as commissioner, first priority would be to expand the Metro Rail into District 11. I want to establish new Metro Rail stops in Kendall, the Hammocks, at FIU, so that Metro Rail is something that people in West Dade can enjoy. Listen, if the students at University of Miami can enjoy a Metro Rail stop, why can't the students at FIU have a Metro Rail stop?
FIU in 72, but who's counting? So when we look at the University of Miami enjoying Metro Rail, it's amazing, because just down the street from here is the South Miami Rail, and on top of the metro station, there are apartments. They're building more apartments, student housing, and they can just walk. They walk.
That's very nice.
Right? And some of them actually live there, and then they take the rail and they go to the University of Miami and they get off. And so why is that? The University of Miami's got it, and FIU's got Bupkis. Right?
Because the representation of this area has done a better job at advocating for the needs of the residents, whereas we've had politicians representing District 11 for a long time who have not really done a good job in terms of public transit. This has been an idea for a long time, but we have never seen a serious politician proposing new Metro Rail stops in District 11. Kendall really has suffered from a lack of good representation for decades. So I will make it a priority to expand the Metro Rail, to improve the better bus system into District 11, so that people can finally say, hey, maybe instead of driving to work, I can take the Metro Rail.
Yeah, for people that don't go to Kendall, and there are a lot of people that don't, they go north to south, not east to west. You go on, excuse me, on a Sunday afternoon, and it's jammed just like US 1 is during rush hour. It's really incredible the number of people that are here, the number of mostly apartments that are causing that. I was going south on Monday morning at 6:30, going north as far as you could see. There's a line of traffic going north.
That's horrible.
Because of no jobs, or not enough jobs.
Yeah.
So what do you think the county can do so that there's more jobs out there, so people won't have to drive east and north?
That's such a great point, Michael, because one of the ways we reduce traffic is by creating local jobs in the district. So a lot of people in Kendall, they live in Kendall, they enjoy the suburbs life, the nice homes, but then they have to commute northbound, which is a big reason why there's so many cars on the road. It really is a quality of life issue, because people don't want to spend 2 to 4 hours a day on their cars. They want to spend it with their families, spend it with their friends, doing something that they love. So, but to answer your question, listen, I'm not a politician. I've talked to residents. What they want to see is good paying jobs in Kendall. Unfortunately, that is not really supplied. As commissioner, I'm going to advocate for new high-paying jobs in District 11. I'm going to personally lobby major Fortune 500 companies across the United States to come and invest into District 11, create new offices, new factories, so that they can employ people and pay them very well.
So we understand that in order to attract some of them, you have to give up some zoning so that it'll be attractive for those people to move in, and or maybe some tax benefits from that. That would cause people to go do that. And so as neighbors, you got to say, listen, I can either keep driving, or maybe I'll get a job over there, or my kids will get a job over there, so we won't have to put up with the nonsense of driving through a lot of traffic. We know that the county was trying to put in an MDX, a Kendall Expressway, if you will. It was going to go way west and then go way south. Apparently that is over, and there's still some conversation about, but it looks like it's over, right? And for a lot of reasons. And some of the big traffic people say, if you build big roads, you're gonna have big traffic, and it's when you make it miserable that people will decide to make some other mode of transportation. So we know there's a big hospital now at 162nd and Kendall, where Baptist was able to look forward, because I think that hospital was started 10 or 12 years ago. And so they employ a lot of people that are out there, and my hat's off to them to having that vision to be able to do that. So, let's talk about, if we could, the some of the things that the county commissioners vote on a regular basis. So bring up some of those things.
Well, actually, last week I was at the county commission meeting, because Commissioner Keone McGee had proposed an ordinance called 7B, which would commercialize farmland. The idea was to establish new businesses on top of farmland, like places that sell alcohol and bounce houses and things like that. I went out to speak against it, because I believe that farmland should be protected and should be preserved. The farmers are the backbone of our community over there in West Dade. So the commission unfortunately voted in favor of this ordinance, and now you're going to see more businesses right on the cusp of the urban development line. They also vote on the county budget, where we decide how to use our county taxes for all things like police department, zoning programs, things like that. And so as commissioner, I want to advocate for the use of county funds to incentivize those companies to come and invest in District 11 so that jobs can stay local.
District 11 has approximately how many people live in District 11? More or less.
I actually don't know that number at the top of my head, but it's certainly over 150,000.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, people don't vote. When it comes to voting, it's a very small number.
Right. Now, the primary is in August.
August 20th.
August 20th. That's the primary. And then the last day to vote is November 5th.
So, yes, November 5th is the November election day. But for my election, I believe we can win in August. Is a two-man race right now between Mr. Gonzalez and I. And whoever gets 50% or more in August is the winner. So I believe we will have a winner in August.
So one of the things we know, lots of times people say, well, somebody else is going to vote. That's right. Somebody else is going to vote. It's important that people go out and they voice their opinion. And there'll be absentee ballots.
Yes,
right?
you can vote by mail.
Absentee ballots, so you don't have to go.
You don't have to leave the house.
You don't have to leave the house. You can mail it. And my suggestion to people, the day you get it, fill it out and mail it back, because it'll get in your pile of stuff, and then you're going to forget, and then you're going to get lazy. So if people want to find out more about you, Bryan, they can call you. The numbers on this will be up on the screen.
That's right. There's a lot of ways to get involved. People can go to my website, BryanPaz-Hernandez.com. They can call my campaign headquarters, which the phone number is on the page, on the screen right now. And also, we have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. So they can type in Bryan Paz-Hernandez for Miami-Dade Commissioner on either of those pages. We're looking for volunteers. This is going to be a people-led movement. Like I said, Michael, I'm not a politician. I am just a local resident who really wants to see changes. I'm sick and tired of the lack of action. So I'm asking for anybody listening, if you agree with my message, what I want to do on traffic and affordability, join my campaign. We need volunteers. If you can donate, you can go to my website and donate, because I am not bought by local special interests. This is a people-led campaign.
So let's talk about where you went to school.
Yeah.
And what you're doing now as far as work.
Yeah. So I went to American University in Washington, D.C. I majored in political science. I've lived in Kendall most of my life, though, except when I went to college. I went to Coral Reef Senior High School on 152nd. I was a proud Barracuda, class of 2013. I was in the theater magnet program. As you know, it's a magnet school, so people get to specialize.
So you're pretty smart.
I think so. I mean, Coral Reef is a good school.
It is.
It is a fantastic school. I mean, to this day, I value it deeply. I got to take AP classes for free, which is rare, and I learned a lot.
That's great. So, here we are. This is almost April 1st. Next week is April. So what are you doing? What are you going to do for the next couple of months so people are going to find out about Bryan Paz-Hernandez?
Well, listen, I've only been in the race for 1 month, and it's already going very well. We've raised a good chunk of money. We've gotten press coverage from Politico Cortadito, which was a huge help. We've secured many volunteer commitments. So it's going very well. And for the next, I'm going to be knocking on doors. I'm going to be recruiting volunteers and spreading my message that we need serious change in District 11.
We know when candidates are knocking on doors, they come back 2 months later and they're about 10 pounds thinner. So we're going to do this again.
I'm okay with losing some weight.
We're going to do that again, and so we're going to be checking out that waistline. But that's one of the things you got to do. You got to go and you got to meet people.
Yes.
And if you can do that, then you have an opportunity for people to really share with you some of their concerns. Miami-Dade County's budget is almost $12 billion, which is that's billion, folks. That's gigantic, right? A lot of responsibilities, go to that. Frequently, the county commissioners are on certain committees. What committees would you like to be on?
The committees I'd like to be on would be definitely the Transportation Committee. That is the committee that decides on all sorts of projects. For example, last week, the committee met, no, not last week, 2 weeks ago, the committee met to vote on a bill an ordinance that my opponent, Commissioner Gonzalez, proposed, which would be to connect Chrome Avenue with 152nd Street. And in the committee, the transportation committee voted it down because they had serious reservations about where it would be built. So 100% I want to be on that committee to see how we can look at innovative ideas to reduce traffic.
And that's wonderful because we all are affected by it one way or another. And I think that's great. We know that CITT, which is the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, has a show here. And so they talk about mobility, and Javier Bencourt is the host of the show, and I think he's the chairman or director of the, sorry, Javier. And so we're exposed to that all the time.
Yeah.
And we know that every part of town's got a challenge with traffic, all the way from Aventura and Miami Beach and Doral. And speaking of Doral has uses their trolleys a lot.
It's great.
They've really figured that out. And certainly that type of involvement, where they figure out, is because it's a city.
Mm-hmm.
Kendall is an area, unincorporated Dade County.
Unincorporated.
I know there was some movement years ago to try to incorporate the city. The unincorporated part of the area, the county had said, let's develop a MAC. They had the MAC. The MAC said yes, and one of the prior commissioners wouldn't let it go any farther. If you get elected, there might be an opportunity for citizens to go to you and say, Can we look at this and see if that's an opportunity? I know a lot of people are against it, but each of the cities that are around seem to be thriving and seem to be enjoying. And the people in Kendall, what they're missing is an opportunity where there's a group of people that can focus on it.
Right.
So often that falls to the county commissioner. And in the other areas, first it would go to the city and then to the county after that. So I hope the minimum that you do is that perhaps you could form some groups out there where you can have input, real direct input.
Absolutely.
And that's important. So I hope that you get to do that.
So many good points there, Michael. Let me address them. So I'm not for incorporation. I don't think there should be a city of Kendall. However, we do suffer from a lack of good representation. For decades, our politicians from Kendall have not represented the serious needs of folks who live in Kendall and in District 11. So instead of a new city, what we need is a good commissioner who will listen to the people of Kendall, the people of West Kendall Hammocks of District 11, and actually listen to what they want. I'm open to a trolley idea, specifically for the folks in West Dade of District 11, and we need serious input from the community. Let me give you an example of how there's a lack of good representation.
We have 2 minutes left.
Okay, there has been an issue of these towers going up all across Kendall. These 5G towers set up by telecommunication companies. And the homeowners were not ever given permission, asked for their permission, or were even given a notice that they were going to construct these horrible, tall stone towers that are a complete eyesore. There's also concern from residents that I spoke to about radiation concerns and perhaps cancer risk. And so where was the politicians involved in that process so that those towers would be built?
Certainly there was less transparency in zoning than there ever was.
Absolutely.
And being that we're in the open arena, like everybody should know if they want to know. And there's so many changes, including the distance in which the applicant must notify the neighbors. It was reduced by half.
That's not good.
Right. And then also, if you've noticed less green signs out there,
I have.
Because they change that. And that's so people in the neighborhood can't be notified, so that yes, they can go find it somewhere. But these other thing was in your face, here it is. And that's the minimum with those couple things that would have been taken away. And that's because the politicians said it was just easier to do that. And I'm sure there were lots of reasons for they wanted to do it. But we're in the put it out there, whatever it is, and everybody will get a chance to argue their particular point.
Right. That's why I love community newspapers, because you guys are one of the last standing hyper-local news organizations to educate people about what's going on in their back door, in their neighborhood.
We're proud of our team, and it's been a family business for many, 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 many years, so we're proud to be able to do that. Bryan Paz-Hernandez,
Michael.
thank you so much. Best of luck to you. We'll see you in a couple months. Folks, thanks for checking out today. If you need any more information about Bryan, you can go on Google. You'll find him everywhere on Facebook and all over, including on his website. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.